Casting from the basement of La Penta, this is WICR.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sports Vault. Jersey Joe and Antonio Coppola back in studio. And look, Rob Mancardo, I know we tried to put out a PBA on him. Right now, it seems like he's finishing a paper, possibly going to another christening with his uncle after that. You never know with Rob Mancardo. But, Antonio, we broke down Giants, Patriots last week before the big day. You liked the Giants. I picked the Pats. But, it came very close. The Giants, they had it in their hands. If Landon Collins comes down with that interception, if Odell Beckham Jr.'s touchdown catch is ruled a touchdown, the little missed things for the Giants really just killed them in the game. But it was as close as it came. What do you think? If you're the Giants after this one, how do you feel? You're 5-5. You're still in control of that division. But, have you shown anything other than that you're just an average football team?
I think they've shown more. I think the biggest thing for the Giants, and perhaps the most fortunate, is that they have a bye week this week.
Yes.
Because it's very tough after, the amount of effort and what they showed in this Patriots game. Obviously, it was a huge game. I don't think they would have been able to come back on a short, not a short week, but on a normal rest and get up for another division game, which they have in the Redskins when they come back from the bye week.
Back from the bye.
With that said, they showed a lot. This bye week's huge for them. Obviously, the news of Victor Cruz is I don't even know.
Season, yeah. I'll be honest though. I really felt that was going to come.
Yeah, and
at this point of the season, it was just like he's not going to play.
No, you're right, and it's unfortunate for a number of reasons. Obviously, from Victor Cruz's standpoint, the guy had a devastating knee injury last year. He's not going to play. He hasn't played football in 2 years. But from the other side of it, what I don't understand what the deal was keeping this guy around, and in terms of not looking for a replacement earlier in the season. They just brought in Hakeem Nicks today. Hakeem Nicks is not going to be what James Jones has been in Green Bay, where. It's been a kind of like a feel-good story. He went back to Green Bay and he's done very well so far this season. Hakeem Nicks, for all intents and purposes, is washed up. He barely did anything when he was in Indianapolis. The guy.
And that was a big disappointment too, because you really looked at that Colts team. You said, this is a perfect slam dunk for them. He really dropped the ball there.
Right, as is Andre Johnson. He's kind of doing what Hakeem Nicks has done. But no, I don't want to go too off from the Giants because I'm trying to. My point is the Giants. Yes, they've shown me something. The defense, after what happened in New Orleans, let's face it. They put together a good performance in Tampa Bay. Not great, but it was good. They got the job done.
Made the adjustments.
Last week against Tom Brady, this past weekend, phenomenal. I thought it was great, and the defense did not lose in that game. You mentioned Landon Collins. Yes, that was a difficult play to make.
Yeah,
the way he landed, and I excuse him from that. There's no reason that you can blame him for that game. Listen,
no.
The Giants had the Patriots on 4th and 10 on the same drive. You can look at that.
Yep.
That if you want to look at the defense, that's the point where you say, okay, the defense should have held up. No, the Odell catch. But what really stands out to me is the way that the Giants have seemed to lose big games on special teams. Listen, the punt return by Amendola.
Killer.
Listen, whether it was the Eagles game from years ago with the Michael Vick, Deshaun Jackson, or there's another game this past season where the Giants gave up a huge punt return where they weren't able to directionally kick the ball. Coughlin went nuts on the sideline. They lost another game on special teams. I don't know what it is, but that seems to be the Giants' Achilles heel. Eli Manning, on the other hand, seems to get up every time for these big games. People always tend to forget about Eli when it comes to the argument for elite quarterbacks. He's up there. I don't care what you say. He gets up for these big games. You saw what he's done in the playoffs. He's got the track record. He's got the rings.
Look, career high in the first half. 251 yards in the first half was a career high for him.
Listen, this guy's a baller. He's doing it with Odell, who's being double covered, and then Dwayne Harris, who was nothing when he was in Dallas. No running game. Offensive line is shuffled in and out every week. You don't know who's playing where.
Yeah, against the Patriots.
Eli Manning. Listen, he's done a phenomenal job. That's all. I credit Eli and I credit Ben McAdoo, because when Ben McAdoo came in here, he had to install a whole new system for this offense. People were thinking, what is he doing? Eli's, on the tail end of his career, or starting to get there at least. Why does Eli need to learn a new offensive system? Coughlin might be out the door. What is going on? And listen, all the credit in the world to Eli Manning. I want to ask you, because you're at these games, how has JPP look? Because you got your first look at him on Sunday, and what did you see out of him?
I thought, here's the thing that I've been very impressed with. I think the fact that he has so much speed off the line without playing for so long is a great sign. That shows, this guy's been conditioning. He's been really getting himself ready because, again, translating back to the speed of the NFL when you've been away for so long is incredibly difficult to do. But he really hasn't looked like he skipped too much of a beat. And I think in a larger sense from the Giants defense, I mean, they made it to their 5th straight game with 2 takeaways.
Mm-hmm.
This defense has a knack for just coming away with these huge key plays in the game. Unfortunately, in this one, the Giants, and for them collectively this season, they haven't always been able to capitalize on them. But, I mean, I think that's why it's so frustrating for the Giants at times, because this is a team that's 5-5, and you look at every single game that they've played, and there are so many things, maybe aside from the game against Philadelphia, but I think you look at almost every single other game, and it's been just one little thing here and there that's kept them from getting that win, and that's so tough, especially when you have like Eli Manning, and he's had so many bright spots. Mm-hmm. The defense, like I just said, 5 straight games with at least 2 takeaways. There's so many signs that this is a complete football team, but the execution at the end of so many of these games it's lacking.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what it's been. A lot of fans out there, critics, whatever you want to call them, have been all over Tom Coughlin, his time management, his use of timeouts, whatever the case may be. The bottom line is that when the Giants had that situation, they had 2 minutes and change, 2 minutes and 20 seconds, something like that. Before the 2-minute warning, right before the 2-minute warning, they're inside the New England 5-yard line. I think they're down there deep in the red zone. You have to go for the touchdown at that point. Everyone's saying, they should have ran the ball. Should have made Belichick use the rest of his timeouts, wind the clock down. They would have had Patriots would have had about a minute left had the Giants run the ball, which would have given Tom Brady less time. Listen, you go for the touchdown there. You go for the dagger. I have no problem with the aggressive play calling there, and it kind of goes back to the same thing Todd Bowles did against the Bills, where he kept going for it on 4th down and going for the touchdown. But no, I want to stay with the Giants because I'm looking at the schedule. They're in Washington. Then they got the Jets at home, huge game.
Oh, can't wait for that one.
That's going to be crazy. Dolphins on the road, Panthers, Vikings, Eagles. Listen, the Panthers and the Vikings, obviously the Panthers are still undefeated. The Vikings are no joke. The Jets that's not a gimme. And then they have the Eagles to finish off the year. The only, if you want to say, surefire wins, I mean, the Redskins, maybe they're playing well.
Cousins was just 20 of 25 for 4 touchdowns the other day.
Perfect passer rating, Joe. Perfect passer rating.
I mean, so they're nobody to slack on either at this point.
So what's the one gimme game is the Dolphins, I guess. Out of these last 6,
they've woken up tremendously.
And that's a Monday night, night game on primetime. So I mean, the Giants, their schedule is not very favorable. I mean, that leads me into this. This division is, who knows? It's a crapshoot.
Well, and here's the interesting thing here too is Tony Romo's back.
Right.
Well, we think. I mean, all signs are pointing that he's back.
I think it's for sure. Sorry to cut you off. Only because the Cowboys released Brandon Whedon, so I think that's a sign.
Okay, that is definitely.
That's a sign that Romo's in there, Castle's the backup, but no. Finish your thought.
No, but I was just gonna ask you. I mean, do the Cowboys, even with the Cowboys and how desperately they've struggled without Romo, it's still not impossible to think. Mm-hmm. That they could take. I mean, is that a dream? I don't think so. I still don't. I think it's still going to take Tony too much time to really get back into the rhythm of things. Mm-hmm. But I mean, is it a possibility?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the Cowboys have been in every single game. They almost beat Seattle with Matt Castle. Obviously, they lost a heartbreaker this past weekend in Tampa Bay on a questionable call in the end. I don't want to get too much into it, but no, the point is the Cowboys have been in every single game pretty much in Romo's absence. Yes, they've lost 7 in a row. Yes, Jerry Jones is pulling out the rest of his hair. There's a lot. The whole Greg Hardy situation, Des Bryant with the tirade in the locker room. I mean, that team has kind of been the definition of dysfunctional for this year. I feel like every season in the NFL, there's a team that is the poster child of the word dysfunction. A couple years ago, it was the Jets, with the whole Tebow thing, and I don't want to get into that. But no,
were you excited about that, Antonio?
Oh God, I don't want to even. Tim Tebow.
I'm excited to be with here. here, Antonio, because you're very exciting. Everything you say is exciting.
What-
The show is exciting.
I'm-
WICR is exciting.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm kind of disappointed that Rob's not here with us, because I would be giving him the business, let's just say that, after what happened last week, where he went absolutely crazy, tried to get you to double team, tag team me when I said the Giants had a chance, and I said, listen, they're definitely covering the spread, but
Yeah.
I'm taking them to win. They had the game. For all intents and Rob, if you're listening, the Giants won that game. And yeah, so
That's
anyways.
the thing, missed opportunities, and it's there.
No, oh yeah, absolutely. But no, back to the Cowboys. Yes, Romo, they're in a huge hole, Joe. They're in a huge hole, tremendous hole. Romo's coming back. I don't have the schedule up in front of me, but you can't count them out. Philadelphia has a 16-3 lead on Miami at home, and they lose. Mark Sanchez has to come in. Stan Bradford looks like he has an AC sprain in his shoulder. We all know he's had shoulder issues. Huge question mark there. Washington, we just mentioned. Kirk Cousins is playing unbelievably. This division, let's face it, it could end up the winner could end up 8-8 and go to the playoffs. I have no idea what's going to happen. But basically, my point is all 4 teams are still in it.
Very, very much a possibility. Just going ahead, I did pull up their schedule. They're at Miami.
Mm-hmm.
They're at Carolina.
They have the
goes
Jets,
to
I
them.
think.
They go to Washington. They
Mm-hmm.
go to Green Bay. The Jets go there, and then they play. They're at Buffalo for the last.
Okay,
week.
wait. So Buffalo, Jets, Green Bay,
Yep.
Carolina,
Yep.
Cowboys are done.
Yeah.
I think I might have just changed my mind
Well, here's
right
the
there.
thing you've got to think about too is Tony Romo's coming back, right? This is kind of like last year when they didn't play Tony Romo that game against Arizona because, let's be honest, Tony Romo's had these issues with staying healthy. He's just coming back, and you're going to put him at behind center against the Carolina Panthers right now? I think a guy like Luke Kuechly, I wouldn't really want to put him through that. But definitely, like you said, it's still up for it. I still think the Giants are going to find a way to get it done. The bye week is at a good time because this is a tough one to really you need a little extra time, I think, to recover mentally from a loss like this. They've got a little bit extra time to get ready for it. Coughlin's teams usually do. We will certainly see, but stepping in today, as always, and doing a clutch job at it is Antonio Coppola. I'm Jersey Joe Archino. We will be back here, same time, same place next week.